Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa, joined by co-host Maruti Acharya and Janani. Both are from different states. We are here to represent the diversity of cinemas in South India. In today's episode, we'll be talking about everything that happened in cinema in South India in 2024. With that, let's move on to the Tamil film industry from here. That industry particularly had a lot of anticipation this year. There was a lot of big films. There were sequels. There were anticipated directors making films. It was not just about the hero. And also a hero is almost at the end of his career, which he says it is. So that emotional value has also been there this year. But has it all translated into delivering good films is a big question. Well, Janani, let's start with you. How was Tamil cinema in 2024?
Tamil cinema in 2024 was all about these small budget films, barring a few exceptions for me. And Sivakarthikeyan Samaran was one of the best films of this year for me as well. But apart from that, if you pick, I would rate all these small budget films as much more superior to the ones that had a lot of anticipation, be it Labbar Pandu or Lover for that matter. The story and the screenplay are what mattered, reiterating the fact that the content is what drives the film and not just the star power or the big budget or the marketing as well. So that way, I would see rate this year as a year that actually gave a lot of voice to these upcoming aspirational directors. Take, for example, Kottukali by Vinod Raj. His film, like his previous film, Kurangal, which is called Pebbles, in that did a lot of rounds in the festival circuit. And even in the second film, Kottukali, even that went to a lot of international festival. I feel that film deserved a lot of love, even though it had a very limited theatrical release for all the right reasons, because Sivakarthikeyan as a presenter felt that this deserved a limited release because of its very, open-ending, climax. So this year was more about those films getting the voice that it deserved among the audience.
Maruti, what's your take on Tamil films in 2024?
Overall, I really like the small budget films. I will not call them small budget films. The movies that surprised me with the experience. These kind of movies, because even Varai for that matter, I really enjoyed watching the movie because it's not a small budget movie. Mari
Yeah.
Selvaraj movie, so the anticipation is there. But in terms of experience, I think these movies, Meragan, all these movies. But in a way, I'm actually sad with 2024 performance of Tamil cinema because in comparison to other industries, I am somebody who actually more than hero director motivates me to build excitement towards a film and somebody who grew up watching Tamil movies. I'll not call them old age, but the outdatedness was a little on the face this time. Take Shankar's Indian 2 or the way Goat performed. Maybe it can completely be with something with my expectations. I might be totally there. But I feel they actually delivered amazing films, and this year, it was so disappointing from my side to see them giving underwhelming products.
Yes, while there were all these big films, namely Tangalan, Captain Miller, Indian 2, there was Kangua, Vettayan also to some extent. All these films, although are big in nature with big stars and big budgets, it didn't manage to create the same or get the same response as it built before the release. At the same time, films like Mayadagan, like you said, Karthi and Arvind Swamy, what a beautiful film. It just leaves you happy with a big smile on your face. So, what is this contrast between the big budget and the small budget films? Janani, let's dive a little deeper into that.
Labbar Pandu is my absolute favorite this year. Lover, for that matter, as well. It had a very, I wouldn't call it niche, like how modern day relationships are. Kotkali was another favorite as well. And I don't know if many of them would have watched Raghutata. Like, even though there were like a few portions of it which I didn't like, But it was a film that was enjoyable for the most part. Coming to the bigger budget films that probably didn't work at all for me were Indian 2 and Kangua. These two had like major drawbacks. With Indian 2, it just went to a place where there is no redemption. Like the only thing that excited me was the trailer of Indian 3 that was shown in the climax, because other than that, the ideas were outdated. Anything that could actually capitalize on what the 1996 film was, which was iconic, they just failed there. They just failed there. These are some stuff that didn't work. Vetain also didn't. It was neither a T.J. Gnanavel film. It was neither a Rajinikanth film. It was like lingering somewhere in between. And directors who are like have years of experience could have like paid attention to, so that it doesn't end up where it is today.
Right. Maruti, what's your take on this?
See, the big budget or small budget movies, the funda is pretty simple this year, especially. There's a pattern if you notice, okay? So the movies which had clarity on what is the purpose and what they're trying to do worked. You take all these big budget movies, take Tangalan for example, or Goat for example, or Kangua for example. So the ideas on paper look very exciting. I agree, I get it. When you're mounting the film, I know for a fact even I will be excited if this is my story. But the clarity of what and how much is something that they lost. Because especially with Tangalan, Captain Miller, you take these movies and understand there is a very mystical element for Tangalan, which is not the regular theme that you choose for a story like that. Or take all the Kangua also, the contrast that they were trying to do. Or the goat, like the family man kind of thing also, a little humorous guy also, and a serious mission also. So I feel all the big budget movies lacked clarity in what they want by the end of it. Even Indian too, for that matter, the clarity was the major thing. So the film itself is so not clear about what it is trying to say or show. It doesn't give anything to audience. Why, like the 2.5 of hours of experience is totally nullified. So I think that played a very major reason. And why, in contrast with Mari Selvaraj, I think that's the beauty of it. I had that problem, a little problem with Mamanan movie also. The first half was really good, but so that's the same problem. But if you take one, you know what the movie is about, despite of lot of points that everybody has about Vare, I feel like the clarity is in place. So even Vidudalai Part 2, the recent one which it released also, if you look at Part 1 and Part 2, it feels like two different directors handled the movie. So the clarity of what the filmmaker is trying to say or show, it didn't translate onto big screen. I think that's the major reason, according to me.
Yes, I also second that with all the Tamil films that I watched, most of them which, had these mixed to negative reviews and reaction from the audience is because of a confusion, very evident confusion on the screenplay. It felt like, although on paper it might sound like a very interesting plot point, while executing it, it felt like either there were too many hands on the dish, or it was a big letdown for me when I watched Indian 2, and the very iconic martial art used in Indian became a point of joke in the
Big
second
joke.
part, and that choices made by filmmakers are something that really pull down the potential that all the Tamil films this year had. Take it Tangalan, that while the film was going in a particular direction, they just suddenly turn it towards the British versus India angle, oppressor versus oppressed angle, while it was taking a very nice mystical approach to it. And then again, let's not talk about Kangua and Indian 2 anymore. Another thing I noticed is, for example, take Goat and Kangua, the cliffhangers are there as well. Indian 2 too. Cliffhangers were there as well. Do
Yeah.
you feel like the end product was, hindered because of this approach once again? Janani, you take it.
With Goat, I wouldn't call it as a like, cliffhanger. Maybe it was just added to just give the hype, because we all know that Vijay is calling it quits. And he has just one more film in his, pipeline. So that maybe I wouldn't call it as a like a conscious decision to mount a sequel there, but to just give the high, like give people the high that so that when they leave the theater, they just go thinking that someday this can be made as well. But with Indian 2 and Kangua, I do understand the fact that this could have actually, there are a lot of portions that could have actually been trimmed, and then and the story could have actually, added to the screenplay than concentrating on these redundant storylines. So that I felt was a major issue here as well.
Another thing in the Tamil film industry is the portrayal of sensitive issues. You again, you see a lot of it in any Tamil film given the years as well, but this year it seemed like that was the major point of conflict in most films. What is your take on this, Janani?
I did a piece on how sexual violence is actually portrayed in Tamil films in recent times. And I felt Maharaja, even though it was a big hit and it's still doing very well in China, it's gonna hit 100 crore. I felt that sexual violence, which was not dealt with sensitively. Like people who ever watch a film, um, who watched it was triggering for a lot of women who watched Maharaja because of the repeated visuals of the victim, and same case with Vetain as well. We know Dushara is sexually abused, but then the director took the approach to actually show the scene how she is assaulted over and over again just to evoke that shock among the audience, which is something that right now, when there is actually a conversation that is building on how sexual harassment is prevalent in workplaces everywhere, and then there is a conversation building on how these should be, showcased in films. Right now, I think directors could actually put in that extra effort to show that scene. Last year when Sai Pallavi's Gargi released, it sort of, had a very sensitive take on how the violence is portrayed. So these are something that I wish that could actually change in coming future. Same thing with the caste-based politics. Even though the politics is something that we could understand. Take Vidudalai, for example. Vidudalai is a film that is I consider as a handbook for communism. So for those films, going and understanding it on a deeper level is something that the audience could use it. So these are the films that could actually bring that sort of visuals to them. But criticizing these films have also become hard these days because when you look at it at a cinematic angle, people, it might not be a great movie, but maybe its politics is good. Like same happened with Tangalan. The politics of Tangalan is so good, but then when you criticize it, it is taken as a, you know, when you criticize it, it's something that people consider it very
It's taken
personal.
as a criticism of the politics and not the film.
Yeah. So when you criticize a film of that addresses caste discrimination or injustice, it's taken as a criticism on the director or his ideology only. So that is something that could have been like changed. I would look forward for it to change in 2025.
Maruti, what is your take on it?
See, in terms of representation, I see merit in what Janani spoke in terms of the sensitivity of handling. But my personal opinion is, in general, there are different ways of different filmmakers and different ideas to show something. So it's very, very difficult to, because a lot of times what happens is that if you don't show, like the call of how you show it, very subjective, especially in terms of a voice and a filmmaker, it becomes very subjective. Sometimes it's just a underlying theme and it feels very forced. There are a lot of movies that released this year also where, they used this angle of abuse just as an angle, just for the sake of it. Yeah, this is the point. So let's put that also. Like, it's like a tick mark also. So it is very sensitive, yes, but subjective also. I feel with Maharaja, a trigger warning, like a very proper trigger warning, would be much
Oh,
appreciated than,
yeah,
because we really can't say, maybe some people might actually the experience it as subjective, right? So in that
yeah,
aspect, I feel the trigger warning should be more in place rather
yeah,
than, yeah, I feel that is my opinion. Again, I might, yeah. And with the caste-based politics and the movies related to that, right? The behavior, see, a lot of people, see, I completely don't agree when people say that, Tamil cinema is doing that. These people are ruining industry. Paranjit, Vetrimaran, Mari Selvaraj, they're not doing anything. They are telling their stories. It is cinema. You always have option to choose not to watch if you have a problem with that. I don't have any problem. I like watching those movies. I'll watch. You don't, but they're ruining the cinema. No, no, I completely disagree with that kind of arguments. But again, see the toxic fans also, right? They, see, toxic fans in general, you take any hero, any movie, they will defend to the core if they like something or somebody. In a way, when I was in college, like a lot of people found Vadachennai in Telugu states a little slow and boring. Okay, I am like, bro, just go. I am judging you all your films. You get the point, right? So there is, I understand where they are coming from, but again, when it is also important for everybody to understand that, how you are cinematically communicating something. Like Janani beautifully mentioned about how Tangalan's politics is on point, but cinematically, is it really good? Because cinema is not just about Tangalan, is not just about politics, right? It is about performance, it is about world building, characters, characterization, screenplay, story. It is a cinema, politics. So the beautiful blend is when it'll actually work, Suran. There are a lot of movies, and it's not just me, a lot of Tamil YouTubers also talk about this. How, too much it becomes after a point.
Well, yeah, that is definitely the feeling. One thing that Janani mentioned in the conversation is that there is a need for a sensitive approach for triggering issues. And yes, while I agree with that, I also see a trend, not just in Tamil or Telugu, or this trend is quite, common across industries, is that there is an acceptance and, a kind of excitement when a film is gory. For example, the recent Marco, the Malayalam film, the way that is working out for its extremely gore action content, be it Kill in Hindi or Animal, for example. Tangalan also to an extent, Captain Miller to a huge extent. There is a lot of gory content that could be triggering, but then that is also a point of, marketing, a point which sells tickets as well. So there is a clear contradiction between wanting things to be a little sensitive and also the kind of tickets that sold when the content is a little more gory, to say the least about it.
I love Kill basically. So it's about how the film is actually marketed. Like with Kill, they just went all out saying this is the most violent film. All you can expect is John Wick types violence here. So you come in for that and you get the full bucks for it. So I'm all in for those films as in. But my point was mainly for the sexual harassment thing, which everybody needs to look in seriously. And I wouldn't mind Marco as well because, when you are marketing it as a film that sells violence, I would look for violence in the film because that is what you are promising. So you give me that, and I would be very happy, more than happy to actually, look forward to in what you guys have promised. So that's something that I believe in.
The beauty of cinema is if we start talking about one thing, we can just talk about it for hours together. Fingers crossed for 2025. Thank you for joining in, and Maruti Acharya and Janani. With that, signing off for the year 2024, I am Sanjay Ponnappa for India Today.